Have you ever been in the middle of a conversation and been somewhere else entirely? Have you ever been so overwhelmed with your thoughts and emotions that you've been paralyzed to do anything in that moment? Have you ever grabbed your phone and realized you've been on it for hours, endlessly? Well, this is me. Or rather, it was me. You see, a few years ago now, I struggled with anxiety issues, as many people do. I was caught up in the past, thinking about decisions I made that worked out poorly, or I was thinking about the future and what could happen, and I was letting it paralyze me, invading my waking thoughts. So I shared this with a dear friend of mine, Andrew McDonald. Shout out, buddy. And he mentioned to me mindfulness and meditation. At first, I thought he was joking. We joked about everything all the time, pretty crazy-like. But he was serious. I immediately thought of a hipster thing. Things that uber spiritual people did. And that wasn't me, and that certainly wasn't my friend Andrew. But the more I dug into mindfulness and meditation, the more I began to realize that this was actually something I could begin practicing right now, today. So what is mindfulness? Well, noted author and mindfulness expert Jon Kabat-Zinn describes it this way. Mindfulness is the awareness that arises from paying attention on purpose, in the present moment, and non-judgmentally. I would hope that's me right now, right? Like, sign me up for that. That should most definitely be me. But I know for many of you, you may be thinking to yourself, that's good for you, Rudy. Mindfulness meditation may work out for you, but there's no way I could do that. And I would tell you, I was thinking just like you. I was sharing the same human condition. But the more that I began to practice mindfulness and meditation, the more I began to step towards awareness and being present, the more I began to realize that my perspective evolved. My priorities shifted. You see, what if I were to tell you that allowing for there to be more spaciousness of the mind and clarity will actually allow you to engage in your relationships with more meaning and awareness? If we could just detach ourselves from the mindless pullings of the world and engage with this day, contribute to it here and now. You see, John mentions, the author I mentioned a moment ago, in one of his books, he juxtaposes mindful with mindless. Now, see, I don't think any of us would wake up in the morning and say, you know what, today I'm going to live mindlessly. But as I was looking back on my life, it pains me to say that in many instances, that's exactly what I was doing. I was living mindlessly. I was engaging with people that I love, some of the most important people in my life, and I was too stressed to be there. Thinking about the past, thinking about the future, thinking about what I was going to say next, thinking about my post, thinking about you, thinking about my post. It was madness. Enter in mindfulness. I began practicing being present and being aware. And in that process, something happened that I hadn't done in years. I paused, stopped. After all, we are human beings, not human doings, right? And something began to happen. As I began to allow the space to watch my thoughts come and go, and walking wakefully through life, present and intentional in the moment, my relationships were reinvigorated. I was connecting to people like never before. And I shouldn't have been surprised because Andy Puttycombe, co-founder of Headspace, he says it like this. If we haven't trained our mind to approach our own thoughts with kindness, empathy, and patience, how will we be able to approach others with that? You see, allowing for yourself to be mindful and to meditate not only allows you to be grounded in yourself, but it also allows you space to connect with others. I was engaging with my wife more intimately than ever before. The interactions with my daughter, they became more than a passing activity in between email and work. I was there at the tea parties with my daughter and her stuffed tiger, Blue Blue. I was there with my 5-year-old, engaging in life, actively. I was present for life, and life was a present for me. Now, I know what you're thinking. There still may be some of you on the fence saying, that's great for you, Rudy. So glad to hear the mindfulness and meditation worked for you, but I'm just not into that stuff. And I would tell you, you're just like me. I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a brother, I'm a best friend who actively engages with people that I love daily, people that I want to be present for, people that I want to be full of mind for, here for. And for me, it began as a simple act of being mindful. I use an app regularly called Headspace. My friend, he uses one called Waking Up. We've uploaded a video to RevolveOne.com where you can go after this event and learn more about taking your next steps into mindfulness. You see, as I began to step into mindfulness meditation, I began to allow for there to be a calm away from the chaos and confusion of life. And in that calm came clarity. With that clarity came content. Within that contentment came a compassion. I began to experience a compassion that overflowed unto those closest to me. So, I know there may be many of you right now that are still daunted at the idea of sitting alone with your thoughts in the quiet of your mind. But I would tell you, as Andy of Headspace says, learn, practice, master. And as with anything you're going to learn today at this event, to integrate it into our lives, to allow there to be a habit, we've got to learn, practice, and master. And if there is anything worth mastering, it is the mind. Because it is when we allow the space and grace to connect better together when we live mindfully. After all, what we know of the mind is but a drop, and what we don't know is an ocean. Yet I know that I don't want to miss any moment by not being here now. Thank you.